Okay, are we here? Is everyone here with me? All right, we were coming off of Jessica Midkiff's Core and More series, and I hope that some of you decided to join me over here. And hopefully, Jess, you're coming, I hope. Anyways, if you guys know, Jessica Midkiff has been talking about core and more. There's more to just the core than the six-pack abs, and it's all about getting you to function and move better. And so we're talking about the pelvic floor and this integration of the body, because ultimately we need the integration of everything working together. And I don't know how to lower this. Hang on, I want you guys to see me because I'm going to be down on the ground a little bit. So integrating the pelvic floor, the inner thigh, the outer thigh, the abdominals, and get this whole system working together. You know, I know everyone wants six-pack abs. It's summertime. You want to look super hot in your swimsuit, and I get that. But sometimes what's missing is we try to go so hardcore on the abdominals that we forget about these other things. So this integration of this whole system actually helps these abdominals to be more successful, to be able to perform better, and ultimately, okay, look better, because that's cool too. You know, it's all, we want to function and we want to be able to live and jump and play, but we want to be able to function. We want to be able to feel good and live well. So we're talking this core, these abdominals. How many of you struggle with maybe the baby paunch, the little poochie thing going on here, and people are thinking, oh, it's my baby fat, or, you know, I just need to do more abs, and I just need to work out harder and stronger. But what if there's an imbalance of the system that we could use some other muscles to integrate and actually help this lift be a little bit more successful? So that's when the pelvic floor comes into play. You know, we talk pelvic floor and everyone just assumes, oh, well, that's all about just peeing my pants and, you know, not pooping my pants and things like that. And, oh, well, I don't have that problem. I don't pee myself. And so I don't need that. Well, maybe you do leak a little bit, maybe you don't. The pelvic floor is still a muscle. Everyone has a pelvic floor, whether you've had a baby or not, whether you're a man or a woman, you have a pelvic floor, and that pelvic floor helps you to be more successful with your abdominal activities. And so if you are leaking, if you pee your pants, when you sneeze, when you cough, when you jump, when you run, when you lift, it's not okay. The only ones peeing your pants should be your babies, okay? I don't care what age you are. I don't care how little bit there it is. Oh, it's just a little bit of pee. No, it's not okay, and it's not normal. And if it's not dealt with, it can get worse. But even those of you who are like, well, I don't have that problem. Well, do you feel like your core is operating the most optimally that it can? Do you feel like you struggle with chronic low back pain, chronic hip pain? Maybe that can be a result of this lack of integration of the pelvic floor and the rest of this pelvic system to help those abs be more successful. So when we talk about that lower belly punch that maybe you're struggling with, when the pelvic floor is working optimally, it helps to lift this lower abdominal region versus push out. You know, if you think about a sit-up and a crunch, those are common exercises that we do, and even planks. Sometimes they're not done as effective as they could be done, and so then the pressure system starts pushing out and down, and so look what happens. Like, all of a sudden now I got this punch and I got this pressure going downward, versus utilizing that breath, utilizing that pelvic floor, and then I can draw it up and in, and now I got this nice, beautiful lower abdominal flat belly thing going on, but my pelvic floor is working better, my abdominals are working better, my hips are working better. So it's about this integration. And then I know that Jess has talked to you about the 3 planes of motion. Our bodies move in 3 planes. We have the sagittal, the forward, backward. We have the frontal, the side, and we have the transverse, the twisty. All of those need to work well in order for your core, in order for your pelvic floor, in order for your hips to work the best that they can, because life is crazy. You know, we're reaching, we're twisting, and that core, that pelvic floor needs to be engaged. if you have small children right now, has anyone ever lifted a car seat out of the car? It's the most awkward thing on the planet, of this turn and engage your abs and lift this huge, like 40-pound thing. It's awkward. And so if you don't have the integration of this pelvic region with your abdominals, and you don't have it in all those planes of motion, your abs, your pelvic floor, they cannot be as successful as we want them to be. So with that, we can utilize this whole system to help your core be better. So whether you're peeing your pants or not, it doesn't matter. If you want your core to be more successful, it's so important to address that pelvic floor. And so I'm so excited. I'm going to share with you some exercises, but also kind of why we're doing some of these exercises. So in my 10-week, I've got a 10-week online training program to address the pelvic floor, to address that core, to make this whole system stronger. So in my program, what I do, I utilize this pelvic core ball. And this pelvic core ball, this is where I need to decide if I'm gonna stand or if I'm gonna sit. So right now I'm just gonna squat. But this pelvic core ball is gonna go in between the legs here. And this ball, uh-oh, do I have internet? Okay, I think I'm still in. Hopefully I'm still in, you guys. All right, this pelvic core ball was designed by a women's health physical therapist to integrate that inner thigh, that outer thigh, that pelvic floor, and the abdominals to get them all working together. So in my program and with everything that we do, we already know we're gonna do everything in 3 planes of motion to get that integration. But also what we know is that we need to utilize the inner thigh and the outer thigh. Now, if you've ever struggled to pee your pants, I don't care if you have incontinence or not, think about when you really gotta pee, what do? We squeeze everything together, right? Because that pelvic floor is more successful. When we're squeezed, that inner thigh, as it integrates with the pelvic floor and with the abdominals, allows the pelvic floor to be really successful. So that's why if you ever really gotta pee and you're like in the car and there's not a rest stop for a while, you're squeezing and you're clenching because that pelvic floor is so successful there. So that's important. We build upon the success. So in my program, that's the huge thing. We build upon the success of this is where we are stronger. This is where the abs engage better. This is where the pelvic floor engages better. But when do we have issues? When do we break down? It's when, don't fall in the pool. Oh, that would be funny, huh? All right, we have issues when we are wide. So that is when we struggle, is during that jump, during that land, during maybe those heavy lifts. Maybe I should raise up now because I'm standing. This technology thing, ugh. So we struggle when we're wide. So that's the cool thing with my program, is it's going to allow us to build upon the success of the squeeze, but then it's going to expand into where we're more vulnerable, where the abs are less successful, where the pelvic floor is less successful, to ultimately give you the success, to work at a higher level and to operate more functionally and just gradually progress upon that. So that's what I want to share with you. So with this pelvic core ball, we're going to integrate that. We're going to integrate all those 3 planes of motion, and we're going to integrate the squeeze and the wide to build upon the success. So let me see if I can point this down and show you guys a couple things. So I know that Jess has talked about, she's done some bridges with you guys, and we can squeeze the ball and do the bridges. And with that, I'm able to draw that pelvic floor and I'm able to really lift those lower abs. And so we can really integrate as we lift those lower abs in there. Now we can also do it wide. So now we're less successful. This is harder. I'm pushing out. So now these outer thighs are kicking in. It's harder to control my abs and it's harder to control my pelvic floor. But we need to build that so that we can be successful, because life is going to happen in those positions. So we've got the narrow, we've got the wide. Well, of course, we got a shifty shift and we've got a twisty twist. So now we can do those bridges. We're squeezing and we can glide side to side. Ooh, that sun is bright. And then we can go wide and hold that bridge and slide side to side. So now I'm really engaged, I'm really lifted. My core is strong, it's on fire. Now we can twisty twisty. So we go back, we squeeze. All right, I think we're still in. Hopefully thumbs up. So we are integrating that pelvic floor. We are integrating the abdominal muscles. We are doing it in all 3 planes of motion to build upon your success. And then we're gonna, of course, progress into standing because we don't function just in sitting, right? So that's where we can do some narrow squats. We can do some wide squats. And this is lifted, this is engaged. You know, if you're a heavy lifter even, this is a big problem in CrossFit of that lack of control of that pelvic floor of heavy lifters. If you don't have this stability, you can't power through. So if you want to be someone who lifts heavy, you need that pelvic strength and those abdominal control because you will gain so much power through this small area that is underutilized and you know, just not thought that it's that important. It's so important. It's this huge crucial foundation. And then we can stand and we can reach, we can squeeze, because what do you do in real life? We squeeze and we reach and we grab things. And then we go wide and it's a little bit harder. It's a little harder to really feel that and engage and get that lifting up. And then we, of course, we're gonna take it in the frontal plane and we're squeezing and I'm successful here. And I'm wide and it's a little bit more challenging. So all these different directions, you know, we can step and squeeze. So we open and get the vulnerability, we squeeze and build upon the success. We can jump it out and we can make it more successful squeezing in. Jumping is a huge problem. But if we allow that pelvic floor, allow those abdominals to catch and control, it can be more successful. And so just total side note, when I was videoing for my 10-week program, I did all the exercises in one sitting and I just busted them out and videoed them. And I didn't think much of it. I was challenged, I was tired, but I wasn't dying. Well, that night I woke up and I felt like I was having contractions. I felt like I was having a baby. So the good news is, it's really cool because even though you might not necessarily think, like the pelvic floor, it's hard because you can't see it. You know, I can see my muscles contract here. I can't really see the pelvic floor contract. So sometimes it's like, is it working? I don't know. I feel like I'm not doing anything. Well, I have to tell you, you're doing more than you think you are when you are really engaging and trying to recruit. Because like I said, I woke up after 10 weeks of exercise in one sitting. I woke up and let me tell you, I felt my pelvic floor. I felt those lower abdominals and they were just totally spasmed. So that's the cool thing is that my 10-week program will utilize those muscles, but it totally makes you successful and makes you feel challenged without trashing your body. Because help get you to that higher level. So I hope that you can take advantage of it. I have a Mother's Day special right now for $77. It's 10 weeks for $77, which is huge because this is over a $600 value. So I really hope that you can take advantage of it right now, because I'm telling you, it is going to be phenomenal. It's going to help you lift and perform better and just be a better you. And hi, Nikki, that baby's about to come any day, and so take care of that pelvic floor and you're going to get there. And Mike, I know you're a heavy lifter, and I know that you have women who heavy lift. So again, that core, that pelvic floor, that integration, everything needs to work together. All right, so thank you guys for listening. I'm gonna put a link to the program. Like I said, it's $77 right now. And thank you, Jess, for allowing me to do this, I guess. I'm sad it didn't work out that we did the joint thing, but we're gonna figure out this tech thing. So thank you guys for joining me and for understanding the core and more, because there's so much more than just the six-pack abs. It's about functioning. It's about moving better, feeling better, living better, and just being better so that ultimately you can perform better. So enjoy your core today, and I hope that you got something out of this. And let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, I've got my program. I'll put the link. I've got an ebook if you have any other questions and just want some more info. We can get that out to you as well. So make it a great day.